Well, I mentioned this last night. The Andrews government is set to open Victoria's second injecting room in the heart of Melbourne's CBD. According to reports, the facility will be housed in a building opposite Flinders Street Station, just a stone's throw from Melbourne Aquarium, Fed Square and, of course, Crown Casino. Business owners already smashed by lockdowns and border closures. Well, they're up in arms over the plan. One of them, Tony Doherty, owns Doherty's Gym, located just metres away from the proposed site. He joins me now from Melbourne. Tony, thank you for your time. We last spoke at the height of the pandemic when your business was struggling thanks to that 111-odd day lockdown. Now you're dealing with this. How much consultation have you had?
And the Herald Sun called me for a comment 2 days ago, so there was zero consultation, and it just makes no sense. I don't know how they think this stuff up. I mean, the corner of Elizabeth Street and Flinders Street at the moment looks like Skid Row. No one wants to go there. And I've seen on the footpath urine, blood, faeces, needles, vomit, and this is a regular occurrence there. So to bring something like this into that part of the city and make it even worse, I mean, we're trying to get the city alive again, to turn Melbourne into the world's most livable city again, to attract tourists back, to get businesses open. You know, businesses in that part of the city have been decimated by COVID. There's so many empty shops and restaurants that haven't been able to open again. You know, we don't have the international students. We don't have the corporates back at work. So to do this is just ludicrous.
I mean, I'm going to put a map up for viewers at home who don't live in Melbourne, just so they get a sense of where this is. It's one of the busiest parts of Melbourne, as you say. It's right near where Young and Jackson's is and Flinders Street Station, for those familiar with Melbourne. This is where people take their kids, Tony. I mean, what would it look like with an injecting room?
I won't take my kids to that corner. Well, I won't, as it is, take my kids to that corner because it looks like Skid Row. And the other thing is, you know, the only way to get to that part of Melbourne is public transport. So do we want, you know, junkies coming out of an injecting clinic, injecting illegal substances, coming out and getting onto the trams and trains with their families? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. So I think that if the government's so obsessed with having an injecting room in the city, why do they do it at Town Hall, you know, at the Mayor's office or somewhere like that, and see how they like it? Or the police guy that's proposed the whole thing. They've got this big new police centre, you know, and we know that injecting rooms attract drug dealers. So why don't they do it down at police headquarters, and then they can catch the drug dealers at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a joke, though, because the whole point is we still have on the books illicit drugs. I mean, these drugs are illicit. And we're putting them in the way, I mean, particularly that Flinders Street Station. So many young people come there and change trams and trains to go to school right across Melbourne. It's an intersection point for young people. And they'll go to the toilets and there'll be someone in there doing a deal or God knows what else. I thought of you when they announced it. Your gym is 24 hours. Now, I have to say, if I was going for an early morning walkout, I would be reluctant as a woman to be parking my car at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning and be going to your gym and coming across not just the addicts. I think worse for me would be all the dealers and others, because that's my experience of Richmond. It's a real honeypot effect. That's as much of a concern, isn't it, than anything else?
Absolutely. I mean, Victoria Street, Richmond's been decimated. There's so many restaurants there have closed because no one wants to go there because of the drug dealers and drug addicts on the street. And as you said, it's an illegal substance. I mean, Peter, what's next? Are they going to put an ice den next door so the meth heads can go and smoke ice next to the heroin addicts shooting up? I mean, condoning that and putting it, as you said, where children and families catch trams and trains and intersect and meet, it's crazy. Not only that, but you've got a whole lot of backpackers places there that when we do have tourism open again, you think families want to send their sons and daughters from France and Holland and Italy and these places to have their accommodation next to an injecting centre or a meth den? I mean, this government is absolutely crazy to even suggest that the city is a good place for this.
Yeah, it's interesting. The first one in North Richmond started out as a trial. It was never a trial. It was rapidly increased. It went from heroin to also include ice. I suspect this will be the same, that it will include ice, and anyone who's had an experience of ice knows it's a pretty violent drug. I've listened to a lot of talkback radio. I've looked at what's been said online by Melburnians. They are up in arms about this proposal. What have people been saying to you?
Well, exactly the same thing. People are up in arms about it. They can't believe that we've stooped to this level of stupidity. I mean, I just wonder how they think this stuff up and then how they justify it, how they don't consult with the local businesses or the citizens or the people. I mean, I live in the city and it's disgusting to walk through some parts of it at night or early in the morning, but particularly that intersection near Flinders Street Station and Elizabeth Street. It's third world. And what they should be doing is cleaning it up and spending that money maybe on some rehabilitation centres or some emergency, some crisis housing for some of the people that frequent there, instead of encouraging a drug addict's place in the city, where we're trying, like they're talking about making it the entertainment capital again and the livable city again. And they come up with this? I mean, enough's enough.
Yeah, let's be very clear for people. For people at home, this is a shooting gallery. Richmond is a shooting gallery. There's very, very little services to actually get people off drugs, to rehabilitate them away from drugs. It's just a honeypot effect, and it's a place to use. It's not a place to get off drugs. I've got to go, but what's your message to Daniel Andrews, Tony?
Pull your head in, Daniel Andrews. Have a good look at it. And if you want to do this kind of thing, have it next to your house. See how you like it and how your kids feel, you know, having these sort of people on the streets. It's against the law, it's encouraging drug use, and it's just putting it in the heart of a city that we should be cleaning up and getting open and on its feet again. We've had enough. Business has just been crushed, particularly in the city. I know so many people that have actually lost their businesses. You know, we've been able to fight through and make it, but this isn't going to make it any easier.
No, it's not. Tony Doherty, keep up the fight. Thank you for your time. Come back on here anytime. I think this has got a long way to run.
Always good to chat. Thanks, Peter.